Welcome to the Tom Greene Show. That was a bit of a new intro. That was the derp song. Derp, derpity, derp. Well, before we get started with this week's college football show, we'd like to give a quick shout out to Mr. Chris Ogdahl, also known as the Auger. He is a sports analyst on 96.1 ESPN Grand Rapids. But if you listen to 96.1 here, you will get all classics all the time, 96 WHNN. But, unfortunately, just before I got to filming this show, I just found out that his father, Fred, has passed away. So, we'd like to wish all the condolences we can to the Ogdahl family at this time, and we'd like to take a quick moment of silence. Thank you. Hopefully the auger is well at this time. But let's get right to it. Unfortunately, Adam is not here this week because at the time we're supposed to be filming this, he had somebody coming over to his house to look at his editing equipment. At least I believe, because we were supposed to have an NHL show up at this time. Excuse me. But unfortunately, Adam's editing equipment has kind of gone haywire on him, and we were only able to get one college football show, which Adam predicted Michigan to beat Penn State 24-18, and I predicted the same 28-20. But unfortunately, Michigan lost. They lost to Penn State. Yes, Penn State. And I learned from that, we didn't know that it was Penn State's homecoming. And now I know that I learned that this year, that if any team's homecoming, give them 7. Homecoming is just about as big of an advantage as being at CenturyLink Field or now Arrowhead Stadium. And for the uneducated people that don't know what that is Seattle at home and now Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs just set the loudest stadium record, just beating Seattle's 137 decibels. I believe 138 decibels was at Arrowhead. A Jet at 100 feet, or at 400 feet I think it is 140 decibels. But anyway, to our college prediction. This week, Michigan plays Indiana. And Adam and I are on two different fronts here, and maybe it's a good thing that Adam's not on this show. Sorry if you're watching this, Adam. But he thinks that Michigan State is a better team than Michigan so far this year. And although I'm a huge Michigan fan, I don't understand why he thinks that. Not because he's a Michigan fan, but State is a little better than they were at the beginning of this season. I'll give you that. Their offense is starting to click now, but their defense is starting to tank a little bit. And if Indiana's defense weren't Swiss cheese, that game is close. I don't want to go overboard and say Indiana wins that game, but that game is then close. Also, because it was Michigan State's homecoming, is the reason why State won that game 42-28. But I have to disagree with him, because Michigan has had a lot of drama this year. State really hasn't. And State fans are saying, people are trying to say to me, you guys should be 3-3. Well, 2 can play that game. You should be 2-4. Why do I say that? Because Western Michigan, that wasn't an impressive W. Neither was South Florida. Notre Dame was a loss. And even Iowa. If your offense wasn't starting to click, that game's a loss too. There's 4 losses. The only games you had that you should have won was Youngstown State and Indiana. That's 2-4. two can play this game. Sorry, Adam, but I'll give you the fact that it will be a close game in 3 weeks. It will be a close game. But to go on record and say that D'Antonio would kick Brady Hoke's tail end off I find that disagreeable. And not just because I'm a Michigan fan. Sorry, Adam, but I have to disagree with you in the most respectful way I can. Now to this game, Michigan and Indiana. Indiana coming off of state's homecoming with their defense being Swiss cheese. Adam, once again, is somewhat, I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know what Adam's thinking right now. I think he's losing it a little bit. But I could be wrong. But he picked Indiana to win 42-38. And I will have to disagree with that, my friend. I'm sorry, but it's just disagreeable. I will give you the fact that Indiana's offense is hurry up Hoosier. And they took a 7-0 lead, and they looked alright against Michigan State. In some point of my Michigan fanism, I think they could have beaten Michigan State. Maybe even should have. But because it was State's homecoming, you had to give State a 7-point advantage. Plus with that. And I'm almost talking more about Michigan State than I'm talking about Michigan. But Michigan's problem last week was the defense blew it. As we know. Al Borges blew it. You don't settle for field goals. You try to get it into the end zone in overtime. You don't try to settle for a field goal. Everybody blew it. I'm blaming it on the entire team. I'm blaming it also on Hoke, Madison, Borges. Everybody blew it. Everybody blew it. Plus, we got to admit that it was Penn State's homecoming. So you had to give Penn State 7 points. That's what I'm saying. But I do think this will be a better week. I think they will learn. I think the loss was coming. And I think if Adam were here, he'd agree with that. The loss was coming. They were playing too dramatic the last 4 weeks. The loss was coming. But I think Michigan will rebound from this loss, and they will beat Indiana. I'm going to say 28-14. They won't beat Indiana by a whole lot. But I think they will learn from this loss and get rid of the dramaticism that is Team 134 so far this year. I think they will come back, win this game, get to 6-1 by the time Michigan State comes in. They will have another bye week next week. And I know this is just me ranting so far in this show, but I just have to disagree with Adam to almost every level for this. I think in 2 weeks you will see a close game between Michigan and Michigan State. State will not whoop Michigan. I think almost Michigan will win. But this week, let's get rid of Michigan and State thoughts. 28-14, Michigan over Indiana. I think everybody will rebound from this. I think everybody saw a loss coming to Michigan. We just didn't know when it came, and it came to Penn State. So, that is our show for this week. For right now. Next week, Adam will be back. It will be a bye-week recap. So, to finalize our score, Adam 42-38 Indiana, me 28-14 Michigan. We will see you next week.
Derp, 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 derp. derp, 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 derp.